Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Sagittarius August 20th, 2022. You can find that you're strongly focused on the past, but finding new ways of looking at a situation that are especially positive and enlightening. Strategizing about your professional life or your next steps can also figure strongly now. Your good humor and unique viewpoint attract others. You seem to need fresh experiences or more interesting topics to keep you engaged, and if you don't seek them out, they tend to find you anyway. It's a good time for pursuing personal goals and studies, and dusting off old gems can be most satisfying. With the moon glimmering through Gemini, and your romantic fifth house of love, passion, pleasure, and self-expression, you're likely looking at your romantic interest more seriously. This is very fitting for an earth sign, and the moon's journey through your sister sign, Gemini, is no exception. There is, however, a catch here. For instance, while the moon wanders through your fifth house of passion and self-expression, the moon will face off with Venus via your intimate eighth house of sex, mergers, and shared resources. That means, your heart's desires might not necessarily align with your current commitments. Choose wisely. Creative pursuits and displaying your professional self-expression could lead to something great. You ought to consider how to include your current passions in your professional development as the Sun in Leo trines Pluto retrograde in Gemini. If something different strikes your fancy, then consider pursuing it further to see if it can be incorporated into your career path. What you choose to invest in could bring about some lucky changes and talk of redirection in your career path, as Mercury retrograde in Virgo also sextiles Jupiter in Aries. Explore your options. A friendly aspect to the moon over recent days has given Venus and Jupiter, the planets of money and luck, a boost in support as they move through your financial sector. Until Mars returns next week to take a more proactive approach to money matters, this is helping to fuel your financial confidence and a sense of what's possible. Your energy and drive have no bounds. If you had it your way, you would do everything and at the same time. Even though your interests are varied, you should concentrate on what's relevant. Involve your friends and relations in particular. You will spend wonderful moments together, and have great memories of them. Honesty is most definitely the best policy right now. Try to make sure you open up to everyone who deserves or needs it, and they will almost certainly reciprocate. You're optimistic, willing to take risks. Self-reliance and the charm you possess gives you great confidence. If you suffer the indignity of being turned down by a potential date, this has little effect on the way you feel. There are people out there who appreciate what you offer and willing to share their love with you. The aspect of the day gives you the power to express yourself emotionally with the people you care about. Rather than wondering whether your emotions will be accepted or validated, express yourself with abandon and really let your friend know how you are feeling. It never turns out as bad as your fears tell you it will. Get your blood flowing with some aerobic exercise and try to understand what you are feeling yourself before you try to communicate it to someone else. Have courage. Welcome to the wonderful energy of a vibration. The essence from this number can see you far more competitive than usual. Further, you may notice that you are particularly ambitious today. Use this to the fullest to make some real headway in your career. You're more likely to want to get out and deal with others than usual, making it an opportune time for meetings and sales. Make some progress. You'll feel great at the end of the day with all that you accomplish. Our eyes in the sky. We're all likely to wake up feeling intuitively sharper and maybe even more creative than usual. But there could be a heavy emotional shift when the moon conjoins Pluto, and we'll have to take care not to overreact to any overpowering feelings. The psychic embellishments from earlier will remain very prominent, but you'll have to be cautious not to let them affect you too much. Avoid having arguments centered around any jealousy you may feel. It could make someone feel unjustly guilty or intimidated. Also be very aware of any negative self-talk, because it could also lead to desperate actions you later come to regret. There could be power struggles or issues with others who want to dominate us. If you feel like someone is pushing you to make a decision you aren't ready to make, take a step back and reassert your boundaries. You don't have to rush through your emotions to satisfy someone else's whims. Any negative energy that's been hovering around you could hit twice as hard when the moon sextiles Neptune tonight. The energy could affect your sleep and make you feel exhausted. In the morning, the moon squares Chiron in Aries, forcing us to confront repressed anxieties. We are emotionally stoic under the Gemini moon, preferring to avoid conflict by busying ourselves with duties and responsibilities. There's a battle waging here between our inner elder and our inner child. We may be attempting to emulate the style of an older person in our youth who dismissed our creativity. And now, we are acting as the same gatekeeper for our wounded psyche. The best way to navigate these energies is to begin talking to ourselves in a new way, thereby acting as our protector instead of our worst critic. Following this, the Leo Sun trines Pluto in Gemini, helping us to tap our magic and personify self-esteem. By firmly standing our ground and advocating for our principles, we become authority figures in our own right. Subsequently, others treat us differently, affirming that we have all that we need within ourselves to embrace our agency. Relationships with superiors, bosses, and those in institutions should be farewell at this time. People in positions of power acknowledge our tenacity and dedication to excellence, helping us to rise further on the hierarchical totem pole. The cosmic weather is quiet today until afternoon, when the moon opposes Mercury in Virgo, provoking irrational thought. We are especially sensitive as the moon transits Pisces. Certain ideas make sense to us on a conceptual level that we have trouble expressing logically. But that won't stop us from trying. The problem is that when we attempt to communicate our sentiments, we polarize our feeling state and our intellect. This can lead to unease, confusion, or analysis paralysis, as we mix up facts and potential fiction. Our interactions with others get scrambled. We become frustrated that our conversation partner doesn't get what we're trying to say. We will be much better off processing our thoughts through a creative medium now. By sharing our feelings through music or writing, our ideas remain open to interpretation. Others can then connect with us emotionally by bearing witness instead of sharing a reciprocal dialogue. In the evening, the moon sextiles Uranus in Taurus, stimulating surprises. Too much weight today has been placed on trying to rationalize our circumstances. At this time, something happens to shock us out of this expectation. We realize that we have been taking things too seriously, that life is baffling, and that we should enjoy the ride. Our intuition and instincts harmonize. We come to sudden realizations that reshape how we relate with others. We could also learn new information, receive unexpected news, or experience a synchronicity that bears special significance. The stress of the day rolls off our backs as we throw up our hands and submit to the universe's grand plan.